Let's talk about the future growth levers of the company. We have seen about the company's products and services. We also saw what are the company's competitive strengths, what are the company's moats. We also saw about the management of the company. Now let's talk about the future growth levers of the company. E-commerce. Friends, with the disruption that has been brought by the that has been brought by the COVID, e-commerce is emerging as one of the largest contributor in the revenues of the company. And the revenue share from e-commerce in years going ahead is going to increase. Internet penetration, young generation, penetration of the smartphones, cheap availability of the data from the telecom providers is going to ensure that the e-commerce penetration is going to increase in the years to come. And keeping in trend with this, Lux Industries is also Lux Industries is also tied with various online platforms like Amazon, Myntra, Flipkart, etc. GST is another game changer. In 2018, government introduced the GST and it has created the level playing fields for the organized and unorganized players. And hence, company is able to capture and will capture the market share of the unorganized space. Because of the level playing field, people are becoming more brand conscious and they will prefer more branded products because the unbranded products and branded products price difference is going to shrink. So company will be able to capture the market shares of the unorganized space. Growing population, middle class boom, high disposable income, resulting in the more consumer purchasing power, right? And the brand consciousness among the next generation will ensure that there is the shift from economic products to the branded premium products. And this will ensure that company's top line as well as bottom line increases more in the years to come. Company also has the huge opportunities, the women's garment space, right? If you see the previous slides, the brands like Lux Cozy, Lux Venus, these are the brands which are popular in the men's innerwear category. So the company has more leg room, more room to increase its penetrations into the women's garment space as well. And if the company is able to grab the significant market share, then this will also result in the company's revenues, the company's top lines and bottom lines going ahead. Winter wear business, we saw the company is also catering to the thermal wear products, right? The winter wear business will also fuel the top line growth of the company. Rising exports, as I stated earlier, companies exports has been increased from 22 countries to 47 countries in the last 5 years, and hence the export contribution has also increased. Currently the export contribution is 10% of the overall revenue. So company is continuously investing in the advertising and promotions. It is spending almost 8% of the turnover into the brand investments. The people like Amitabh Bachchan, Varun Dhawan, Taapsee Pannu, Karthik Aryan, Virat Kohli are the brand ambassadors of the company. Company, as I stated, right, it has recently tied up with One brand of the Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli is a well-known icon among the youths of the today. And this One brand will help penetrate the company into the super premium category, which has the better margins. Company has also recently, expanding its outreach by opening the EBO. EBO is nothing but the business outlets, extensive business outlets of the company, where all the company products are being showcased, are being displayed, and customer can purchase from these EBOs. So currently, company has 4 EBOs which are operational, and it is planning to add 6 more EBOs by end of March 2021. And in FY22, it plans to add another 50 EBOs, exclusive brand outlets. Company recently announced merger with Ebel Fashion Service Limited and JM Hosiery and Company. So this merger is effective from 1st of May. So when you see the financials of the company going ahead, it will be a consolidated financials which will constitute of Lux Industries, Ebel Fashions and JM Hosiery. Ebel Fashions is mainly engaged into the ladies innerwear and leggings, whereas JM Hosiery and Company is engaged into the men's sportswear and t-shirts. This will bring the operational synergies and company will be able to diversify its products. So from men's innerwears, it will be able to diversify into the ladies garments, ladies innerwear, and also into the sportswear and t-shirts business. And this expansion in the product offerings will naturally increase the company's top line and should also help in increasing the bottom line of the company. And premiumization of the product should also help to increase the margins of the company, profit margins of the company. Yeah. So wider product range will translate to the enhanced cash accruals. So let's see who are the competitors of the company. Friends, the hosiery business, the main innerwear business, the ladies innerwear business, the ladies garment business is highly fragmented. Majority of the share is being commanded by unorganized players, right? As you see, the unorganized segment is commanding around 60 to 60%, 60 to 65% of the market share. So as a part of GST, there is a good amount of chance that this shift will happen from unorganized player to organized players, and the organized players will be able to increase its market shares. Even in the organized segment, company has competition from well-known brands, Page Industries, the brand like Jockey, everyone knows about it, Dollar Industries, Rupa and Company Limited. So these are the well-known brands which everyone is aware about, which everyone knows about, and company is facing the competition from these, the strong branded players in the organized segment as well. However, the company's strong brand, the extensive distribution network, pan-India presence, strong brand recall, strong brand ambassadors as the promoters of the company, partly mitigates the risk arising from the unorganized and organized competition. Now let's talk about the financials of the company. Friends, if you see the 9-year revenue CAGR of the company has grown its revenue at 9.75%, which is not very exponential, but it is definitely a decent revenue growth. In March 11, the company's revenue was around 521 crores. In March 20, it is around 1,203. And in March 22, the financial ending at March, the financial year ending March 21, the company's revenue is expected to be around 1,350 crores, 1,350 crores. So probably the company will be expanding its revenue between FY20 to FY21 by another 8 to 10%. Friends, one should remember that in the FY21, the first quarter of FY21, that is April to June quarter of FY21, was kind of a washout because of the lockdown. Similarly, the March 21 numbers, they also get subdued because of the second wave of corona hitting the country and a lot of local level lockdowns impacting the business, impacting the stores, impacting the supply chain. Despite of this, company will be able to, register a growth of around 10% from FY20 to FY21, which is definitely a decent one. Let's talk about the profitability of the company. Company's operating profit has increased at the CAGR of 22%. So friends, look at the fact. Company's sales has grown at a CAGR of 10% in last 9 years, but the company's operating profit has increased at the CAGR of 22%. What it means? It simply means that company is able to increase its operating profit margin. It means that company definitely commands some kind of pricing power because of its brand recalls. You see, in FY in March 21, in March 11, in FY 11, company's operating margin was 4.28%, which was increased to 5.9% in March 12, 6.47% in March 13, 8% in March 14, around 9% in March 15, around 10% in March 16, around 12.5% in March 17, around 4.3% March 18, around 4.9% March 19, and 15% in March 20. So if you see that company is continuously increasing its operating margin, which is a very good sign. It means that people are able to purchase the company's products because the company either has the good quality of the products, it has the strong brand recall. And in FY21, again, company may able to sustain this operating margin at the level of 15% to 16%. So if you see the company's profit margins, the company's operating margin has increased from rupees 22 crores in FY21, in FY11 to rupees 188 crores in FY20. Talking about the net profit after tax and the margin. Again, company's sales growth is around 9% CAGR. Company's operating profit growth is around 22% CAGR, and company's net profit growth is around 35% of the CAGR. And if you see again, keeping in trend with the operating profit margins, company is able to increase its net profit margin from 1.61% in March 11 to around 10.5% in March 20. Friends, in FY19 budget, the government of India reduced the corporate tax, and now the current corporate tax is around 22% plus surcharge. So in FY19 and in FY20, right, that is an additional booster for the companies, that their profit margins has increased and their PAT has increased. So essentially, Lux Industry is able to grow its revenue at 10% CAGR, approximately 9.5% CAGR, which is a decent growth. But if you see the operating profit and net profit growth CAGR for 9 years, which is like 22% and 35%, then this is exceptional. I'm sure very few companies will be able to increase their profit and net profit at such a high CAGR. So after financials, let's talk about the key ratios to see how the company is currently valued. So the company's current market price is rupees 2060, right? Company's current PE is around 31, and company's 5-year median PE is around 30. So essentially, company is closely trading with its 5-year median PE. The industry PE is 29.1. So company is commanding a slight higher premium over the industry PE. Company's PEG is 1.37. Friends, PEG is nothing but PE divided by earning per share. It is always preferable that PEG should be less than 1. It means that company's EPS is increasing. Company's EPS growth is more than the company's PE growth. With the PEG of 1.37, it indicates that company's PE is increasing, company's PE growth is slightly higher than the EPS growth of the company. Company's receivable days is 93, which is again a decent number, which I will say is not a very good number, which is again a decent number. And company's 5-year stock price CAGR is 26%. So friends, 26% growth in the stock CAGR is again an exceptional growth. Normally, Nifty or Sensex would have given maybe like 10%, 11% CAGR returns in last 5 years. But Lux Industry has given the, return at the 26% CAGR. Lux Industries stock price has appreciated at 26% CAGR. Promoter holding is around 70%, which is a very good holding, which means that promoter has a skin in the game. They are actively involved, closely involved in the day-to-day operation of the companies. Company's FY20 operating margin, as we see, was around 15.7%, which is again a very good number. NPN was around 10.5%, which is again a very good number. Debt to equity is just 0.11. It is close to zero. The debt to equity ratio is almost negligible. It means that company doesn't carry a high debt burden and hence high interest payments on its shoulder. 5-year ROE of the company is around 27%. Friends, return on equity, ROE, is again one of the key parameters when we decide on the valuation of the company. And 27% ROE, 5-year average ROE of 27% and the current ROE of 27.7% is again a very good number. Very few people, very few companies will be able to sustain such a kind of an ROE. So on the key ratios, friends, company's ROE is exceptional. Company's stock price has been appreciated at an exceptional CAGR of 26%. Company's operating margin of around 16% and the net profit margin around 11% is again a very good number. Promoter holding of 70% is again a very good number. Company's PE, which is around 31%, is very close to 30% of the 5-year average PE, and the PEG of above 1 is slightly overvalued. So on the key ratios, if you see, the company is having a very good numbers. On the key ratios, probably we can rate company on the scale of 10. We can rate company at 8 or 9. On the sales growth, we can rate company at 6 on the scale of 10. On the operating profit and operating margin growth, we can rate the company at around 8 to 9 on the scale of 10. At the net profit margin and the net profit CAGR, we can again rate the company on 8 to 9 on the scale of 10. So if you see that company's financials are strong, company's return ratios are strong, company's management is strong, company has a strong brand recall. So let's see if this company is worth the investment at the current market price of around 1,900. So friends, with this, we are coming to the end of the part 2. In the next part, we will be talking about the business qualitative analysis of the company, as well as we will see if the company is worth investment. So stay tuned for the part 3. Happy investing.